I'm here with Matthew Bishop of The Economist to find out what we're about to learn here in Davos over this week. World Economic Forum, what are you expecting?
Well, I'm expecting there to be a lot of talk about how do we, all the people who are here from business and politics and non-profits, how do they actually solve these huge problems the world faces at the moment? There'll be a lot about the banking sector, which has got quite rightly been pilloried in the press but is now under fierce attack from regulators. Will they be able to actually regulate the banking system to not screw up the world economy, but actually regulate it in a way that doesn't destroy the good things that banking can do as well? We're going to hear a lot about Haiti and how to rebuild Haiti as a working country. That's going to be suddenly at the top of the agenda, and I think we're going to hear a lot about what happens to things like international aid and so forth when government budgets are under massive pressure.
And what is your sense about the people talking about the world economy? Are we?
Well, if you go back to Davos two years ago, there was this sort of general sense of panic that people knew that something was really rotten in the system and they weren't clear how bad it was going to be, and there were lots of rumours about which banks were going to go bust and so forth. Last year the real damage had been done and there was a sort of just a general shock, I think, paralysis, a sense of how did things really get that bad. And this year the people have had a chance to figure out who's going to go out of business and who's going to stay in business, and there's now a sense of, okay, well, what are we actually going to do to change the system? Will the system really need to be changed? How radical are people willing to be?
And do you think there's a sense that the world economy is taking off in a positive way or in a real way, or this is just a false hope, false dawn?
I think there's a lot of discussion about how real this recovery is. Certainly there is a recovery, but a lot of it is driven by governments, and there's a real question about how much of the public spending that we've seen increase over the last couple of years can be sustained as people worry more and more about government deficits, particularly in America.
Great, we look forward to learning this in the next few days, and also in your recent book, which you agreed not to plug in this video, which is called...
Well, I've actually got a new book coming out which I'm going to be launching here at Davos called The Road from Ruin, which is really about how do we get out of this mess and how do we improve the economic system so it really works better, more productively, and doesn't get us into the kind of crisis we've just had in the last couple of years.
And is there a credible way from the road to ruin?
Well, there are, but I think the lessons require intelligence and they require leadership, and fundamentally it's about making the system more long-term orientated and less prey to the sort of short-term speculation of the market.
And are those leadership aspects in place? Are we going to be able to do that?
Well, I think we're going to find out here in Davos this week whether all the people who talk about change and about resetting the economy and rebooting the economy, whether they really have the long-term courage and leadership skills to deliver that. If this group can't, then we're really in trouble.
Okay, so by the end of the week we should know if we are going to be off of the road to ruin.
I think hopefully we'll get some indication of whether our leaders are willing to take us on the road from ruin, or whether they're going to leave us sort of going around in circles in the middle of the ruin, which is quite likely at the moment, I think.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
Bye.